Rich, thank you so much for joining me. I love chatting to you, as everybody knows very well. Today, you are the host of our Wisdom Whispers in the Wisdom Seekers Society. There's a lot of wisdoms in there. And our theme this month is creativity. And that, I think, I've got you and Rick Rubin in my head this whole month around creativity, and then Maya, the goddess that the month has been named after. So all these things. Um, Michael, you wrote a book called The Smart of Art, and you've mentioned before that that art has saved your life or changed your life, um,
Saved.
saved your life.
Mhm.
And I think you and Rick Rubin, who wrote the Creative Act, which we're listening to as well in the Wisdom Seeker Society, you guys have the same ideas around creativity specifically.
Yep.
Tell me what saved your life about art?
Art. Okay. So art was, as you know, I'm extreme neurodivergent.
Mm,
So dyslexia with dysgraphia. So my hand brain doesn't really work. So I can't write nicely or do a portrait. I cannot do copy. I cannot regurgitate.
yeah,
Neither, when people talk to me, when people teach me or something, I can't regurgitate that, even though I understand it. And I cannot do what art education actually teaches you to learn how to do a portrait, to learn to do a landscape and stuff. So my landscape and my portraits are really, really different. I was 2 years trying to do portrait painting and nude act and nudes, and I literally found out in the last 2 months how I do acts. I was so shaming myself for 2 years that I could never, because everybody around me, even the bad, painters,
yeah,
made beautiful copies and whatever, and I could not copy the stuff. And I wasn't so I knew I was neurodiverse, but I wasn't knowing this dysgraphia so much.
yeah,
So in the end, I found out, and nobody looked at my stuff or thing. And then when I found out in the 2 months, at the end of the course, I found out. No, yeah, in the 2 months of a 2 year uh, course, I found out I did it my way. So however I see whatever comes out, I look at you and it might be a square. And
yeah,
the moment I did that, everybody looked at my art and nobody looked at the other ones.
yeah,
And it was not a copy of it at all. It was the energy that I transferred through me.
yeah,
And art saved my life because I was neurodivergent. I, I was also a sick kid, so I went to school with 7,
mm,
and then I couldn't read. I stuttered. I just couldn't concentrate. I was remembering. It's funny. I just remember that I was taking ballpoint pens apart and created flying objects with like try to. That was I didn't listen to the whatever was taught because I didn't have a relation to it.
mm,
I think in education it's so bad because the kids have no relation to what is taught. They
yeah,
just get system relevant stuff dumped on them and said, you have to learn algebra. Why? Why would you learn that? Why is it important? What is gonna, it gotta get you something to eat on the table and it doesn't, so you really, I think reading and writing is the only thing people understand because everywhere is written. It's really understanding what it is, but not the perfect writing. I couldn't even, I made mistakes en masse. And everybody I tell the story, they said, yeah, I do too. And everybody I ask, say, did you ever fit? Do you fit in? And they said, no, because you can't generalize one humans. They don't fit in. Nobody. The quarterback and the cheerleader that don't fit in.
yeah. But you need both.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. And everybody, no, you need both, and you need also have exemplary people. And when you're a superstar in math or whatever, that's a good thing to see. But that's there 101 is. Okay. So art helped me because I couldn't have contact with humans that much because uh, I could outside of school. But you know, when you're a kid, school is your family, your secondary family,
Yeah.
and so you want to fit in. But I couldn't fit in, so I couldn't fit in. So what I did was I created. I went in the woods, built a wood house. I worked on a motorcycle. I was 10 years old and I bought a little moped, you know, and
Yeah.
fixed that and turned around and stuff. And I felt so good when I did. I felt natural when I created. I
Yeah.
did. I felt totally unnaturally in schools or what system requirements they asked me. And then I loved music like we all do, and I started loving music. And I always say, I wish I would know how many lives art saved, you know, because
Yeah.
you think you want to end your life and then you hear a song, you see a movie, you
Yeah.
know, you hear a poem, and it
Yeah.
just gives lights you up from within that you are okay. You're one of one. You know, there's nothing wrong. There cannot be anything better or worse. You are one of one, whatever that you experience this physical plane here.
Yeah.
And so I started DJing. You know, I made mixtapes first, and
Yeah.
people loved my mixtapes. They loved the mixtapes because I mixed Sinatra with the Clash.
Yeah.
You know, I did the extreme thing. I had reggae, and then I had, you know, some heavy metal, and then I had Polynesian music with jazz and all this stuff. So I mixed all these country, which they found out now is actually the way to do it, to have
Yeah.
stark contrast that people keep listening.
Yeah.
And so I made the tape. I made money.
Hmm.
I made money.
From
I
your
made good
mixtapes.
money.
Okay. Yeah.
I made good
Yeah.
money. I sold one tape for today would be uh what would it would be uh $8 or $9 today. I mean that so would be $12 or $15 with inflation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for one tape, you know.
Yeah.
So and I saved a lot of money for the people, and they were exposed to the music because the kid didn't buy all the records. I know friends. I lent I borrowed those records and I mixed it all together.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I got jobs as a DJ.
Yeah.
And then from that, I got jobs as a fashion show music, and
Yeah.
then I've produced fashion shows. So for
Okay.
example, in the U4 underground, this is very famous in Austria. I produced a fashion show for a company, a clothing company, and it was the fall season, and they were uh, red. The fall season then was vanilla and red,
Yeah.
and I used vanilla scent and strawberry scent. The model sprayed when they get the red, all the red, everything smelled like strawberries. So I loved creating things. I
Yeah.
said, well, how can I make that better? You know, so
Yeah.
I loved stuff this, and I always did the music and the lighting and stuff. So it was really, really rewarding because you instantly see that's what the superpower of art, where I already got it. I wasn't conscious of it.
Yeah.
So where where the system says you got to do this to be relevant. Now I created something and I was instantly relevant because I got instant feedback. The people didn't say that's stupid. That you know they said, "Wow, nobody has ever done it. That is the greatest thing ever." You
Yeah.
know,
And it's an
and
experience because you involved all the senses, didn't you? Smell,
yeah, yeah,
hearing, feeling,
and
and
And then
seeing.
you also have the feedback from other one-on-ones that
Yeah.
say, "Oh my God, Michelle, I like your painting." You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it didn't sell. I didn't
Yeah.
now be the fashion producer for everybody, but that those things you know, they're sticking to you because you did something totally you. Nobody told me what
Mm.
to do. I did it,
Yeah.
and I saw how much success I can have.
Mm.
You know, just being me. And I think that nurtured already what I'm now because you know I'm totally an outlier of outliers. I'm just me.
Yeah.
I never say, oh, I wrote so many books and did this.
Yeah.
No, I say I'm Michael. That's it.
Yeah.
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 take it or leave it. It's
Yeah.
just I'm not defined as something.
No.
And if I define them as an artist, but everybody's an artist, so
Yeah.
so what I
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
carry on.
so that's was the stuff. And then when I was 30, and this is important, when I was 30, that I looked at my resumes, and I think that's what anybody that loves art and loves creating art, because
Mm.
it's not about the product, it's about the creation. Uh, I looked at my resume, and it was all creative jobs. There was not
Yeah.
bookkeeper, there was not, anything in there other than media, video, advertising, music. So all of the art, it was always, and what I saw then, I said, it was so overwhelming,
Mm.
that feeling of writing a new resume
Mm.
and looking at my old, and the reflection, the awareness. See, that's what I'm saying. That the moment what you and I preach,
Yeah.
the moment I was aware that I couldn't have been a bookkeeper, I
Yeah.
couldn't have been a lawyer, I couldn't have been a medicine man, a fireplace, whatever. I couldn't. And I saw, oh my God, all art. And what I did then was a major decision. And I wasn't even aware of it, but I made the decision that I'm an artist. I
Yeah.
don't have to wait till you say, Michael, you're an artist.
No.
I am an artist because I had the system relevant confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every job where I got paid for was art. So I was an artist. And when I decided that literally changed my whole life. It's
Yeah.
literally, so all the art connections or the art relations that system relevant. For example, working with Robert Evans,
Mm.
who did The Godfather and Love Story and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he came to me. I didn't say, I want to, hey, Robert Evans, can I work for him? No, he came to me.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, when I was Arts Commission of Newport Beach, I just filled out. I was very involved because I didn't want that they do a sculpture garden before I was Arts Commission. They
Yeah.
did a sculpture garden, and they want to just have statues there, fixed statues. They want to buy. Okay, we got to spend $2 million on artwork, and that's it.
Mm.
And I said, never do this. I was fighting that. I said 2 years maximum. They have to be rotated, so you actually helping more artists to be relevant, and also you have and everybody was against me. Literally, I mean, this is how I made myself known. And
Yeah.
then the arts, this councilman then chose me because I was always in the scene and talked, and they were interested in what I had to say. And what happened was they chose to be, to rotate the art.
Mm.
And the moment what happened with that, they got already 2 or 3 awards because they're more relevant. Because I said you can
Yeah.
create history. Also, it's not like you have 10 statues or 12 or 15 statues. You rotate it. So you have 20, 30, 40. You created art history.
Yeah.
And now it's not, nobody questions it.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what we do.
But it's not
But
something you learned necessarily or something that you
never,
heard somewhere else. It was really becoming aware. And I
yeah,
created these slides without Michael knowing, so you didn't know that I was going to have this up
yeah,
there. Um, but the awareness trumps all. This is kind of where
yeah.
you
That's
connect
why you and
yourself.
we are like twins. We're
Yeah.
like, yeah, awareness is everything.
Yeah.
And once you get that, then you can actually listen to people. Remember what I just told you? I said, people don't listen. The system says you got to listen to the other people, not in a binary system, because you're selling out. It's
Yeah.
never straight. Yeah, everybody needs to be left wing or right wing. Everybody needs to good or wrong. Everybody needs to be this or that. And nobody is this or that, right or wrong. And being a woman, being a man, being this, being that. Nobody is purely that.
No.
Because yeah, so you constantly, so you're not listening. When okay, that goes into a tirade of being Republican or Democrat or Tory or a Labor, you just don't listen. It's not interesting. We are not interesting to each other because we don't dance. We think, oh, So I know what Michelle means, and I'm not listening. I'm
Yeah,
saying, give me something else to do. Let me type right now while we're talking. You know?
yeah. Because I want to be right. I want to tell you about this thing that I know that is right and it is mine and all of that.
Yeah.
So
And
in
what you don't know,
process,
what you don't
yeah,
know,
but
right?
you don't know, yes, because
Yeah.
I know better for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, but now in awareness, your and you know this for me is so important that that is the main thing. Then you have creation as
Yeah.
like there is no hierarchy in this whole thing. Um, but as we've been speaking over the past couple of months, you know, this is kind of what keeps coming up, and I think this is also set out in your book, which I need to read.
Yeah.
Um, is creation is the next step. So, you know, or the first step of this process
It's
of
the
this.
essential step because
Yeah,
what does art want? I always ask, what do you think art wants? The energy of art, not what the system says. What
yeah,
does the energy of art want? The energy of art wants to be, you get an inspiration
mm,
and it wants to be created and exposed because the creation is bringing it in from the non-physical, from your non-physical,
yeah,
and then you exposing it in the within the physical. So if I make a little drawing and I said, or it comes to me, I'm like this monkey in the drawing. And then what do? I show it to you.
yeah,
And that's it.
yeah,
That's the whole, anybody can challenge me on that. Tell me what is the other portion of art other than inspiration and expression? What is it?
yeah,
Inspiration, creation, expression. What is it? It's what else? Then when the creation is finished, which is the symptom of uh, from that conversation of that inspiration. So when sometimes I get when you can get an inspiration, say, do something yellow,
yeah,
and there's
yeah,
no right or wrong.
yeah,
Or you get an inspiration is do a yellow canary with a cigar and a top hat.
yeah,
See, it's defined. It's a defined thing,
yeah,
and so you create it, and the clearer you are in that, perhaps you always should do a canary with a top hat and a thing. You should have always done that.
yeah,
But if you're not really in touch with your non-physical, if you think it's just you and it just comes and you are the genius,
mm,
then perhaps you just see yellow. But if you have a clear conversation, you see more detail, the inspiration will be clearer, and you're questioning that because
yeah,
nothing comes clear to me. It's supposed to be a canary with, I think, but I would see perhaps yellow, and then I would say, let me, okay, it's a bird. Okay, I'm gonna do a bird, and then I'm gonna do oh, it should be a cigar. And so why would I think that's a cigar?
yeah,
And then a top hat. That would be really funny, and they would get
yeah,
joy out of that, and then create it.
yeah,
So that's what happened in the process of creation. And you learn so much because it makes sense in humanity too. So we all are artists
mm,
because we talked about this. We are collective creator species of nature,
that's
because
it.
otherwise every town would look the same. We would all have anthills in New York, Paris, or Singapore,
Yeah,
So so we are using, and then Google, Apple, states, governments, they're all collective creations of us. And that's why you and I advocating update systems and make them artworks and to treat them like artworks. Because even if you go in a mosque or any and we're not religious, Trumpers, but when you go in those artworks, you feel or in a museum, right? We said, so if you're not in when you go to a museum and to the British Museum, and so you go in there and you're flabbergasted because it is a work of art, and you see, I am a part of this species that created all this over thousands of years.
yeah.
And
There's
that's,
a
and
connection point. There's
yeah,
a
it's a total connection point.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you can
total connection.
feel it. You know, it's
In a church, in a mosque, or in a
yeah,
museum, it doesn't matter. You
no,
feel it. It's like, wow,
Yeah, yeah. Because there is, and I mean, as I say, I'm reading the Creative Act by Rick Rubin
yeah,
as well. So where I am in the book now, he talks about the river of abundance, or abundance in general.
yeah,
So this inspiration and the expression are both abundant
yeah,
um, things. We so used to and conditioned to think that things are in lack, that we
yeah,
don't realize that if we open our awareness and we are open to inspiration, that it flows naturally. And then also on the other side, that expression, to not think every piece or everything that we do, every right, whatever your expression
yeah,
is your life work, because then it
yeah.
stops you. So to keep that flow going through inspiration, creation, expression, and to know that
Over
it's
and
going to
over and
come
over.
around.
Just
Yeah,
you're just a vessel. I am a vessel. I'm
yeah,
not saying, oh, I created all. Yeah, I did create it, but it came
yeah,
through, and I just had to did the work of typing it,
yeah,
or making it.
yeah,
So yes, and also we are conditioned over generation. Don't forget that we are conditioned over generations. What has value and what hasn't value, and since we came to a point where money equals uh,
yeah.
survival,
Mm,
so we're not looking at creation at all. We're not looking at the process. And so we create things like businesses that,
mm,
number one, are not us. They're not an expression of me. It's like me doing a surgery supplies. I don't need to
yeah,
be a doctor for that. But if I would create surgery supplies and they wouldn't make it, or they
mm,
would make it, or whatever, it has nothing to do. It's not me.
no,
Because even if it makes it and makes a lot of money, I want to get the money out and leave.
yeah,
So we do things that are not us, unique one-on-oneness.
mm,
And when we do those things, then what happens is that's why I think 95% or 97% of all businesses after 3 years are failing.
mm,
So basically 3 to 5% of businesses only make it, and nobody talks about it because nobody wants to know the truth. People say, I have the false hope. And when you get false hope and says, this president will save you. I mean, look in England, it's Johnson will save you. This guy will save you. It's always the guys that we hope that person saves you.
yeah,
Nobody can save you. And you can't save anybody else because we're all one of one.
yeah,
But you must save yourself to help that your kids save themselves, right?
yeah,
So it's all about creation and
yeah,
how you save you. So you make thousands of decisions, creative decisions every day.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
every decision, and that moves over so nicely into the next one. I'm not sure why creation keeps pulsating, but it is. The
it's all
next,
heartbeat.
it's a heartbeat, yes.
Yeah.
Is dialogue as to how do we communicate this to each other? How do we not just listen, but there's such a beautiful expression, and I can't remember where or who. In the dialogue process, we came up, or Johan Boerta came up with this around being the well, for being the space for others, so that
Yeah.
we can not just listen to them, but give them space to express themselves and to then see it as they intended. Um,
Yeah.
in that dialogue process, you also shared with me this week a little clip around a podcast with Rick Rubin. He was talking to the front man of System of a Down, and
Yeah.
we're talking about this creativity, and it fills in so nicely with me around a dialogue where just being together on a stage or creating together, or even what we
Mhm.
do,
Yeah.
having these conversations, it is bigger than the sum of the parts. It is more
Exactly.
than what we could
Yeah.
want it to be, because it happens organically, spontaneously, however you
Yeah.
want.
There was no force. You didn't force me. I didn't force you. It just fell. That's what we propagate. We say the synergistic fit is the most effective because nature in the synergistic fit. Oh my God!
Yeah,
And this blinking makes me
yeah, it
crazy.
is.
It's a neurodiverse.
Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, good, good. So what the
Yeah.
thing is, yeah, the first, and let me do for something for the creation.
Mm.
Our number one superpower is creation, because
Yeah.
everything, I thought everything is created,
Yeah.
but otherwise everything would be the same.
Mm.
And that's our creation. So whatever we create. But if I say create a shoe that is artsy, that has a context.
Yeah.
Art has no context. It says you get whatever is your inspiration. It might have a thing. So I can have an inspiration that says nobody makes art shoes, which is not true.
Yeah.
There's a lot, but nobody make artsy shoes. I'm gonna make artsy shoes. So you have the context given in what it is.
Yeah.
But if I just get a color, often I get a sound, a color,
Mm.
just a sound, a rhythm. I
Mm.
know I did a song with this. I liked the Erica Badu had that rhythm, and I
Yeah.
said it was a slow rhythm, and I'm usually not turned on by slow rhythms, but her rhythm. I said so I copied the beats
Yeah.
and then created a song from that. So
Okay.
so when so art has no purpose, whatever it shouldn't have, because it just wants to be inspiration and wants to be created. If you find a purpose out later, the awareness that you in that creation, that's great.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong. Like everybody can interpret what they experience with your art. There's not, but I think the artist has to. So untitled work I don't like, because I
Okay.
want you to say, this makes me happy. Call it happiness.
Yeah.
Call it, call it frustration. Call it, chaos. I mean,
Mm.
all my titles, you need to be titled because they can see the context. Because I had sciatica pain like 30 years ago, and
Yeah.
and it was extreme. I mean, I've never had so much pain. I took pills and it didn't even help. Vicodin and stuff didn't even help. So I stopped. I taken them,
Yeah.
and the only thing that helped was creating painting. And I painted a set of 8 or 9 watercolor paintings,
Yeah.
and they were very mirrorish, like. And so when I showed the people that, and they're so happy. And it was out of
Yeah. Pain.
pain, yeah,
Mm.
that came. And I don't have a clue why they came out so happy, because everybody thinks, oh my God, I love those. They're so happy. And I
Mm.
said, when I did them, I was, because so
Okay.
even the judgment on that is wrong, to
Yeah.
put him into a category,
Mm.
because feeling happy doesn't mean there cannot be pain in there.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm saying that now because when I tell you by speaking, I get more aware,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
And
just know
also,
the fact.
yeah.
Yeah, I know just the fact that it was the most pain that I ever happened. And everybody has really also said something to it. So it
Yeah.
was really deep, and it was so much pain I had. So that was so creation as art is the highest form. Then creation, your
Mm.
business, whatever you want to do,
Mm.
your problems in your house, how you decorate your house. Every house is
Yeah.
decorated differently.
Yeah.
And then the dialogue. Have we talked about the dialogue?
We
Dialogue is
kind of
what we
touched
do.
on it. Yeah.
I think we are the best example for actually dialogue.
Yeah.
So we dancing with each other. We are not prepared. I'm not prepared. You just remind me of those things, but
Yeah.
I'm not prepared. You're not prepared. Whatever comes out, comes out, but it's
Yeah.
always good, because we are
Yeah.
not saying it must be good. We're saying if it's not good, it's not good. And
But
when
there
you
is
have
no
to,
good. So there's no judgment in
yeah,
it.
there's no
Practice.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are not binary. It's
Yeah.
not, there's no better, good, right,
No.
wrong.
No.
So dialogue when you dance is enriching. When you do the human dance, the human-centric dance, when you're not system relevant, Tories or the labor. When you dance with each other and said, why do we do this? And you ask questions and you just dance with each other.
Mm.
Uh, you also experience one thing that a lot of people have never experienced. So we experience it all the time, and we actually, if anybody wants to see, watch our episodes,
Yeah.
because we are not prepared. We have no agenda, nothing.
Yeah.
So what happens is that two people say something, and it's not right or wrong. It's not better or worse. It is about both right. It's both,
Yeah.
it opens the perception. So you have a perception about woman, and I tell you something that I perceive woman, and
Mm.
then your perception goes, or you say something about man, and I have my perception about man, but then it opens me more about the man. So
Mm.
when you one of ones communicate, they
Yeah.
get to a higher level and they get to awareness. They get more aware, definitely. They're not getting to absolute awareness, but they get more aware when they contribute each other, when they
Yeah.
contribute to each other. And also they
Because-
listen.
Yes.
Also they listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
They listen not
Because
with their
there's no,
brain,
yeah.
but with their six senses, you know?
That's it. Because there's no outcome. There's no, I want to convince you, or
Yeah.
I want to make my point, or I want to do this, or whatever it is. No agenda, no outcome. So it's art because
Yeah.
it is creation of
Yeah.
a new form of thinking.
Hmm.
It's we changing the way we think about the way we think because we
Exactly.
open to each other's
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's simple and it's not complicated and it's yeah.
A very simple, easy, and not strenuous or anything. It's just wonderful. And that's why I say I experienced with another neurodiverse person,
Mm,
with Mark McCormick. I experienced in his group with the University of Alberta. Uh, we experienced uh, that four people talked about equality,
mm,
and it was young, old, man, woman. We
yeah.
talked about it, and I said, I can't believe it. There's four absolutely different perspectives of equality,
Mm,
and they opened all four of us in our perception of equality. So we have much more gravitas in
mm,
our our own perception of equality because we had that interaction with each other. And
yeah.
it is insane. It's like what the, I
Yeah.
mean, the system says, oh, there's four people now. One must be totally wrong, one must be in the middle. So it's already instantly defined and as a but no, it was completely different, and
Mm,
it was so enriching. Oh my God,
yeah.
I was in heaven because I was never aware that, because I'm conditioned like you are. We conditioned, system conditioned. It's
Yeah.
right or wrong, good or bad,
Yeah.
and it's never. It's
No.
gray. Life is gray. It's not black white.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the magic of dialogue. If you are open to that experience of I am here to see you,
Yeah,
and you are here to see me, and that's it. There's no new conclusion or outcome
yeah.
necessary. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't need to be getting a degree after I talk to you. You know, it's no,
No.
and it has to be a
Yeah.
human-centric dialogue, because a system
Yeah.
relevant dialogue is just very hard to deal. You know, it's just
Yeah.
yeah, because it's endless. It will never end.
Yeah, because it's contained within rules and systems and things like
Binary, yeah.
that. It's gonna,
Binary,
yeah,
either
it's
or. And
binary.
and
Yeah.
life isn't nature is not either or, and we are part of nature, and
Yeah.
humans are not either or, because we all one on one.
Yeah. And I was just looking now. I've got these funny notes around Rick's book that I've got, and he's talking about awareness. Like in life, we create programs, but awareness is different because it's us moving away from the programs and kind of looking at it from outside. Um, you know, and he's also talking about it takes little effort because it's not forced. So awareness is really coming into that flow,
It's
and
coming into
allowing.
us. It's
Yeah,
not, it's not see what system relevance, and it's important. System relevance is important, and it's also, systems are important if they're updated. The
yeah,
problem is when you have a rule that women are weak and men are strong, right?
mm,
From thousands of years. Well, education, 1845.
mm,
It's a Persian army preset education to get to be the Persian army, which is so, the German army was so the most powerful army ever.
yeah,
So, and the whole world adapts that education, not the whole world, but the Western world.
yeah,
Uh, when it's not updated, then there is no growth in it. It just, okay, this is the way it is, and there's no growth. And Rick is totally right, because I just want to add to Rick's
Mm.
that the reason why it's not in the process is because the process is always behind human growth. Because
Yeah.
if you and I we hang up in an hour, we are different.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
it's never, the moment is so precious.
Yeah.
It's never thing. But when it is generalized to understand, to be understood, whatever, but then it has to be updated. And
Mm.
this is the big misunderstanding that systems have. They say it works, it worked, so we're gonna do the same thing, and then we come to adaptation,
That's
the
it. Yeah.
third point,
Yeah.
where you have to adapt
Mm.
to your old things that you're already way above already.
Yeah.
And we have to be, let's still talk about women being weak and men are being strong, right? Or men being pigs. Let's just talk about that, or
Yeah.
perceive all that. I'm
Yeah.
not looking at you as a one-of-one human. I'm looking at you as a white woman.
Mm.
It's crazy.
From South
You know,
Africa, so it must be racist
yeah,
and
exactly.
weak and this and that and
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
You're just not as good as an aristocrat that is perfectly in charge and got a lot of inheritance. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is, it's also old. It's
Yeah.
old. It's an old thing, and we just take it over. Okay, aristocrats were always good, and aristocrats have such. I know a lot of aristocrats,
Yeah.
but and I say they had such a chance to update their aristocracy. And I talked to him, and they never wanted to know about it. I told him, I said, "Do you know what you could do, because you are already exemplary? You could update aristocracy by when you get what is the vision of an aristocrat today."
Mm.
And so, but I talked about this 20 years ago
Mm.
because
Which
I'm half one. I'm half one. My mother was an aristocrat, but not.
yeah.
And so I'm a bastard. So I'm not an aristocrat at all, because the father, it's a male chauvinist. It's not like
Ah,
Jewish. The woman is
yeah.
strong. In aristocracy has to be the father. And
Okay.
if there's no inherent, they just change the rules like every system. If there's
Yeah.
no the,
There's
is
no
there no male heir? We
yeah.
just change the system. Okay, it's a female this time.
Yeah.
So like Elizabeth, it's just, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Elizabeth is it. That's it.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's the adaptation is it's not so easy outside of creativity or art in the system relevant world.
yeah,
Adaptation is very difficult because then you lose power and you lose um
your one-on-one is you use your
yeah,
one-on-one is because
yeah.
I'm adapting to saying, even if we play out the things,
Mm,
if I see you as a woman from South Africa, a white woman,
mm,
if I see you, I must deny myself to look at you. Do you see? I
mm,
fail in the system relevant stereotyping. I fail myself
mm.
because I can never access your one-on-oneness.
Yeah. But
See,
therefore you
now
can't
you and I, we access each other's one-on-oneness.
yeah.
But if you look at me as one of the dirty guys, that
Mm,
all guys are pigs, you can't experience this. So everybody loses.
yeah.
In human centricity, that's why I say human centricity is the awareness matrix, because it's like that's what we were working on. Uh, because once people are aware, they can choose what to do. So if you want to be suppressed, you can. If you want to be dominant, you can. But you got to know what is natural. What is natural, not what's normal. Normal
Yeah.
is never defined, right?
Yeah.
Normal is never defined.
But
So
abnormal is.
natural, yeah,
Yeah.
natural. We are one-on-ones. We are
Yeah.
part of nature, and so that's important. And adaptation takes a lot of power, and in the context of art it really takes, because artists adapt to the uh, uh, what is it, oh, the art product is a commodity.
Yes.
It's the commodity. So I have to think about, let's go back to the canary with a cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I have to do it with this way,
Mm,
because I'm going to study and say what kind of top hat or AI can help me to put the best top hat on, what kind of cigar, shall I have a scarf or whatever, to sell it
mm,
versus I want to love these things. And this is what I say. Artists don't are poor. One reason is because they adapt to the
System.
commodity.
Yeah.
No, the art product. They adapt to the art, the liking of their art product, which
By
is
the
a
audience
commodity.
so that they can sell
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's not what I want to create. Something that comes to me that blows me away. I mean, every time I look at my logo here, I have this. I did this my sideshow that reflects me.
Yeah.
I did this, I think, 40 years ago. I've never changed I've never
Yeah.
changed my logo of my company for that.
Yeah.
And I love the color.
Yeah.
I love this chartreuse is
Yeah.
that's exactly that chartreuse. And I get pleasure because that's me.
Yeah.
It's me 101 is, and that people hate chartreuse, but this is me.
Yeah.
So
It is about you and your engagement or interaction or
yeah,
whatever your word is with your product. And that's what you're saying.
exactly. Yeah, it's my
The
product.
artist.
I
Yeah.
don't care if people like chartreuse or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
But people came to me. So I have a lot of designer friends, obviously, and
Yeah.
they all say, "Oh, you need to update your logo." I said, "Do
No.
I? Do I really? Do I really?" No, I said, "Show me what an update would look," and then I get all this gaudiness and update. I said, "No, that's not me. I'm minimal. It's
Yeah.
not me."
Yeah.
And so, but you got to listen, and you live. Perhaps somebody has a better idea. And so adaptation is a superpower. So it's
Mm.
the first one is creation, and from creation in the highest form, the religious is art.
Yeah.
Art creation is the top before any creation.
Yeah.
Creation is in the context,
Yeah.
my business, what I wear, my interior, the,
Mm.
the dialogue, because I can learn everything from creation except humanity. I
Yeah.
need to engage. You learn everything. You can make your degree. You can go to school alone. You can eat alone. You can
Mm.
do alone. But if you want to learn about humanity, which you are part of,
Mm.
you need to communicate. You need to dance.
Mm.
And if you're not dancing in the stuff, you will be a hermit. And trust me, I'm very much a hermit, even though
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
But the engagement with humans to learn about your humanity, I learned because I talked to people.
Yeah.
I didn't learn from school or anything because I couldn't ever do school. So I have no education. So, and then the adaptation is the fact that you and I uh, actually can talk to each other
Mm.
over technology. We have to adapt to each other
Yeah.
because you can't. And adaptation is obviously very easy when you look at one-on-oneness instead of what they are representing. I'm a binary, I'm a
Mm.
young kid versus an old thing. That's
Mm.
my interview with the guy. He's in his
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
He's a different race in his 20s on another continent.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Speaking a different language with a different
everything.
culture, with a
Exactly.
different everything, reference
Yeah,
point. But yet there's openness and therefore
yeah.
adaptation.
That's that's a superpower, and this is what actually brings the whole thing
Yeah.
to the completion is because we have six senses and we connect to the one of oneness, not to what it is, that person. Because the zebra can talk to the giraffe and
Yeah.
they don't even understand each other, but from animals,
No.
they
Yeah.
talk to each other and help
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
So when you look at like that, then it makes it very easy to adapt and use just the six senses, not your brain.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did 370 or 80 now, 380 interviews in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
all over the world. And what they reconfirmed, that's why I'm so strong in my opinion, because I had the opinion before, but see, a theory or thesis is not reality. And
No.
when you then experience, but that's why experience is so important. When
Yeah.
you experience it with other humans, then
With
you
other
learn about
humans.
humanity. And then you say, system elements is weak, it's linear, it's binary. And
Mm.
we are not that. It's
No.
our game. We created the game of systems.
Yeah.
Why don't we make artworks of it? See,
Yeah.
it's, and I think that's what we propagate. We tell everybody we could make our systems, update them, and make artworks where you go to social service, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh my
Yeah.
God, they take care of me. That and
Yeah.
that's why I pay taxes. That's why taxes are necessary. So it's not
Yeah.
like the systems lose; the systems gain when they
Yeah.
become
And
art.
we gain. Exactly. So if
Everybody,
if
win-win.
yeah.
Human-centric, always win.
Yeah.
System relevant, binary, win-lose.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
So yeah, we go with that. And I also want to. Rick says exactly the same, and it's he says as soon as you label an aspect of source, so when you're aware, and if you label that aspect, you are no longer noticing it, you're studying it, and when you start studying it, you lose connection with it because you then objectify it. So we, you know,
And you segregate it. You
mm,
segregate it from the whole. You can
yeah,
never segregate. That's why I say, oh, systems are horrible. No,
mm,
not revolution. Update them, update them. I said, see, and I asked myself, why are systems not, why don't we like system? Nobody really likes them. And I
mm,
said, what, because they didn't update. They used the money, they took the money out, the leaders took the money out, and they let them all, and they request from humans that pay the taxes and everything,
mm,
adjust to us, adjust to us. This
yeah,
is the system, and then dominating humanity, which that's what I know you hate that really,
yeah,
to say this is what it is. Nobody can tell you this is what it is because you're one of one. So
no,
how can you generalize that thing? When you agree, when it's the difference. When you agree, when you say, okay, this is what happens when this happens.
yeah.
But nobody agrees. Nobody's asked today, especially. They just do a new law. Nobody asks,
No.
you know.
Yeah, and these things are being updated and changed within the collective conscious. We are
Yeah,
saying, hang on a minute, don't tell me what to
yeah.
do. I need to be part of this because I am a one of one. I am me.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
you are one. You, the
yeah,
leader, are 101. You
yeah.
are not better. You're just skilled in the system to be a
Mm,
better chess player. But
mm.
without me as another chess player, you can't be the leader. You
No,
cannot be
exactly.
the
Yeah,
champion
yeah,
because you need another. And
yeah,
so whatever we are all in the same boat if we want or not, but all in the same boat are still 101.
mm,
So not everybody needs to sit together.
yeah,
All the people that don't like each other don't need to sit together in the boat. They sit on the other side. So you
yeah,
don't have to kiss everybody,
yeah,
or whatever. So you don't have to be. I'm happy. See, the system relevance reverse engineer. Just be happy, positive, gratitude channel, a gratitude journal, and this and that. And it's just like are using instruction that is dictated to you.
yeah,
Work out every day, eat
yeah,
this and that. When you want to eat that, you
yeah.
eat whatever your body wants, not what people tell you or what people make you addicted to. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I hope we showed the superpower of art. It's the
Yes.
absolute power.
Yes. And I think this is one of my favorite quotes that you added on
Yeah,
that is the essence of art just wants to be expressed and presented. The artist receives the most value from this process. Conversely, fame and finance are alien to the essence of art.
yeah,
And that's beautiful. I mean, I think that is a good way to end
yeah,
this wonderful, insightful
yeah.
wisdom whispers, Michael. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
May we all embrace our one on oneness and be the
It,
artists.
and our art and
Yeah,
not thinking, oh, he's system relevant. But when the system decides somebody's an artist because they can sell it, doesn't mean
yeah,
it's the best art. It's
no,
like, oh, I can sell Warhol. That's why Warhol is the best art. I wouldn't think that Warhol is ever the best. I love Warhol, but I don't think it's
yeah.
the best art. Yeah, and
No,
also it changes.
it changes because we
Just
change.
give a little, give him a little extra. So when I was 15 years old or so, and I
Yeah,
was eating with the dean of the Academy of Vienna of the Applied Arts.
yeah,
I want with my uncle was a master teacher at the Applied Arts,
yeah,
and they said the whole group, and there were doctors and everybody, and the whole group was discussing what is art,
mm,
of my discussion. At that time, now nobody cares about it. But they said, "What is art?" And then they said, "Now Picasso is not art because he has 30, then I think he had 27,000, he was still alive, 27,000 paintings. You
Yeah.
cannot be an artist. And Wall is not an artist because he photographs and put paint on photographs. So the deans, the expert, the system relevant experts that are binary
Yeah.
said exactly about the art market, and it's completely wrong because they would never say that today. So
Because that their understanding, their knowledge has been updated in a way as to they caught up to what it is. Because I was and we will end soon, but this is an interesting topic.
go.
In the book, he also Rick Rubin mentions that Andy Warhol didn't do most of his own artworks. He
No,
had other artists do it, or machines, which I still need to
no.
have a look at, and I didn't know that. And I
And
mean that. What's
no,
that?
he did the Brillo box, the all
Yeah,
these packages. Wall was, which we do, because I mean
mm,
it's very marketing of boxes can totally. I mean, you're never gonna forget Colgate and
yeah,
Coca-Cola.
yeah,
You
yeah,
never forget the shape and the
yeah,
market. It's a piece of art.
yeah,
Uh, because you can't get that image out of your face,
yeah,
out of your mind. So yeah, he was doing machine created the Brillo box,
yeah,
and he used that as in variations of, he just stack them a different way or photograph them in different way.
yeah, yeah.
So
And that is art. Art is expression, isn't it? So
yeah,
the judgment of the art is subjective, and doesn't make it art.
it's irrelevant
Yeah,
because everybody's one-on-one. So if I say your art is really good or bad, it's like saying your podcast is really good or bad. But
yeah,
I cannot never. You did it. I didn't. Usually the critics and the judges are the people that don't create because they're
yeah,
so jealous that people create, and they say, "Oh, I can't see this film was so they could have done so much better with that actress." But nobody ever went through a process of creating a film.
yeah.
How hard it is to create a film, how hard it
The
is to make a
process of
podcast.
it,
Yeah,
what actually goes into it,
yeah.
yeah,
And how it develops, because you
yeah,
have to dance super. I think the most dance you have to do it is in a filmmaking, because it's all disciplines.
mm,
It's also system relevant and human centric.
yeah,
I think it's one of the hard, it's literally, and I worked with Robin, and I don't want to be a producer anymore. I thought the producer is just an artist that goes and talks to everybody. No, it's begging for money and
yeah,
making compromises and whatever. And so,
mm,
yeah,
yeah. Michael, thank you
you're welcome.
always.